Yes, yes. Welcome to Go Long Live with Barry Long 2. I am Barry Long the second. Don't forget the 2. We are live coming to you on today's California.com, live on CoachellaValley.com, live here from Indio, California, where it is hot as hell. It is a high of 115 degrees today. Now, although I am wearing the hoodie. It's because we keep it cool indoors. But if you're living in a desert like Phoenix or any Vegas, anywhere where it gets over 110 degrees, then you know that once you go outside, it is horrible. I mean, when you get in your car, you don't want to touch the door handle. You don't want to touch the steering wheel. You don't want to put your seatbelt on because that's too hot. And oh Lord, don't let you have leather seats. If you have leather seats, your butt will be burning. So it is a rough life out here in the desert, but you know, we get a little of the good parts of it too, because we don't get any rain hardly at all. So shout out to everyone out here in the valley. But yeah, so we're going to talk a lot today about, I mentioned last week, we were going to talk the AFC South. Today, we're going to go division by division. I will be talking about the AFC South division, which is a pretty much of a toss-up this year. We don't know who's going to win that division, and we have some breaking news out of that division as well. We're going to talk about NBA free agency. NBA free agency is going to begin here in the next couple of hours. So we're going to start seeing some big names go some places, and it'll be exciting to see if anybody changes teams or if they, re-get some contracts or the Lakers start making some moves, because we have Russell Westbrook now. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Olympics, and let's just kick it off right now. So if you've been watching the Olympics, hopefully you have, because it only comes on once every 4 years, and we need to appreciate it while it's on TV. It's not going to be on for much longer, so we definitely need to appreciate it. But I've been watching, and some of the sports, man, just are flabbergasting to me. I saw pole vaulting, which is, to me, that's probably one of the most dangerous sports that we have in the Olympics. Once you get up that high in the air with that stick, who knows what can happen. So I feel I always cringe when I watch pole vaulters try to jump over that bar. Then I was watching some equestrian the other day, and I was wondering why the jockeys were getting so much attention. I was thinking, isn't this sport about the horses? Like the horses, when we watch the Kentucky Derby, aren't we betting on the horses? We're betting on Big Brown and all these random names that they come up with for these horses. But it seems like the equestrian themselves, the actual jockey, is the one that's winning the gold medal. So I was kind of questioning that as well. But we did see some good things happen for the U.S. and some bad things happen for the U.S. We'll start with the bad. We saw the U.S. women's soccer team. Oh, that's a terrible picture. We are infamous for having terrible pictures here on Go Long Live with Barry Long II. But yeah, so that the USA women's soccer team, which has been, one of the top soccer teams in the world for a while. We've won a lot of gold medals, especially during the Olympics. We come out strong, and it seems like the whole country rallies around this team. Well, they've lost early to Sweden in the opening round, and then they came out and lost last night to Canada 1-0, and we've beaten Canada the last 36 times. So this was really an upset for Canada. We haven't lost to them since 2001. So it was kind of embarrassing. They won on a PK, on a penalty kick. So there was some controversy behind that, as far as the team talking smack after the game. But ultimately, we're not going to get a gold medal in the women's soccer. So that is a bummer. But we also saw the women's basketball team. They went on and they defeated Japan last week, and then they came out with a strong performance today as well, this morning, early in the morning. So we're looking at that team to be one of our best chances to win a gold medal. We've got the men who are going to be playing against Spain. Now, they took care of business against Czechoslovakia, and they took care of business against Iran earlier in the Olympics, but now they're going to be faced up against Spain. And Spain has some good players now. They have Marc Gasol, who didn't play that well for the Lakers last year. But Marc Gasol, those jerseys are just terrible. Whoever designed those jerseys deserves to be fired right now. Like, what is that? Like I believe they call that an ombre, where the color goes from light to darker as it goes down. So it's like a light blue at the top. It's just a terrible jersey. I think we were doomed from the start whenever they decided to print those ugly, terrible jerseys. But yeah, so we're facing Spain. and Spain is a really good team. They played together for a long time. They have Marc Gasol, who didn't play that well for the Lakers. Didn't play at all, actually, hardly for the Lakers this season. But he still has some juice left in the tank. Then you got a guy like Pau Gasol, who's a leader, who's a proven winner in the NBA, who is, going to come on and take on some defensive tasks. He's going to be out there for as long as he can, but he is a little bit long in the tooth. So I don't expect Pau Gasol to be that much of a threat. But you've got guys like Hernan Gomez, who's a good rebounder, and he can shoot the three. You've got a few other guys on this team. Ricky Rubio, who is a great distributor. He can dribble around the paint and just find guys wide open. And then you got Rudy Fernandez. If you guys remember, Rudy Fernandez used to play on the Portland Trailblazers. He's on the team too. So this team is going to be a difficult team because we've already seen Team USA lose a few times. We lost to Nigeria. We've lost to Australia. And here we come, down the stretch, losing to France in the beginning of the Olympics. So we're talking about a team who has 5 NBA players, including Alex Abrines. I didn't even mention him. He's on the team as well. So maybe we start to see Team USA struggle a little bit in these upcoming Olympics, these upcoming Olympic Games. But hopefully, Kevin Durant and Damian Lillard, they can really lock down and they can get the job done. Now, also, we have some Simone Biles news. Simone Biles is going to actually compete. Now, she's been dropping out of Olympic rounds left and right. She dropped out of the team final. She dropped out of the individual all-around final. She dropped out of the bars final, but she is going to participate in the balance beam, and that will happen tomorrow. And she has a chance to win a gold medal still after all that she's been through. So shout out to Simone Biles for being such an advocate out there, talking about mental health, standing up for it. And it'll be good to see her actually come out with a gold medal. But I think that there's a lot of good things that came out of her actually not being in the Olympics in so many different categories, because it opened the door for girls like Suni Lee and girls like Jay Carey and girls like Jordan Childs to try to, get out there, because if she was out there, they'd have no chance whatsoever. So it is a good thing that she withdrew from those competitions for the other girls. And it's going to be good to see her get a gold medal at the same time. But it remains to be seen. She still may drop out. We don't know how she's dealing with her mental health. And if you remember, Simone Biles, she was one of the last gymnasts that came out and admitted that Larry Nassar took advantage of her as well. We know Larry Nassar was not just accused. He was convicted of molesting dozens of young girls. And Simone Biles happened to be one of those. So that could be related to some of her mental health issues right now. So we don't know what's going on in her mind, but it would definitely be good to see her step out and take such a stance on mental health, and then turn around and still get a gold medal, and then have the opportunity for those other girls to get a gold medal. So shout out to Simone Biles. We support you here on Go Long Live with Very Long 2. Don't forget the 2. Thank you to everybody who is tuning in. Remember, you can comment on the side, and I will bring it up. And comment. I want to shout you out. I want to know who's listening, who's watching. And I'm wearing the La Quinta High School, hoodie today because I got to stay fresh. And shout out to La Quinta High School. My daughter goes there. So we're talking NBA free agency right now. We're getting ready to jump into that. But before I do, I really wanted to just go into the detail just one more time about my Lakers. Russell Westbrook is headed to LA. Like I said on Friday's show, I felt like, Russell Westbrook belongs in the West, in the Western Conference. He is such a dominant player. He's such a watchable player. You want to see him every night on an every night basis. And the Eastern Conference has been weak these last few years. So Russell Westbrook goes to Washington Wizards, and we barely even see highlights of this dude. When we were seeing highlight after highlight, when he was scoring triple-double after triple-double, when he was with Oklahoma City Thunder, even we saw a lot of highlights when he was with the Houston Rockets. But when he got to the Washington Wizards, it was like he disappeared. He fell off the face of the earth. And he was still getting it done. He led the league in assists last year. But I don't like Russell Eastbrook. I want him back in the West. I like Russell Westbrook. Give me my Westbrook. And, I think he's going to take a load off of LeBron James. A lot of people say that they won't play well together. I believe that they will play well together. Who doesn't play well with LeBron James? We saw them say that about Kyrie Irving and LeBron. Is LeBron two-ball dominant when he decided to go back to Cleveland and help them win a championship? That seemed to work out just fine. Before that, when he went to the Miami Heat, they were saying, oh, you got two wing players. You got LeBron James and D Wade. Who's going to have the ball? Who's going to take the last shot of the game? That seemed to work out just fine as well. LeBron and AD, are they going to be able to play together? Is it going to be too much clogging of the lane? That seemed to work out just as well. So LeBron James is probably one of the easiest guys to play with as long as you don't walk in there with an ego. And I believe that Russell Westbrook is tired of losing in the first round of the playoffs, tired of not making it to the playoffs, tired of playing with a bunch of G League guys. And I think that this year he's finally going to get it right in his mind that, hey, I don't have to be the number one option all the time. I can go in here, I can put my head down, I can bring my lunch pail to work, and we can win this damn ring that I've been looking for so long. And I can beat Kevin Durant and James Harden in the process of doing it. Now, the Lakers had to give up the farm just to get Russell Westbrook. We gave up Kyle Kuzma. We gave up Montrezl Harrell, Kentavious Caldwell Poop. Yes, I said it, Poop, because sometimes he's Pope and sometimes he's Poop. This guy sometimes can shoot, and sometimes he can't shoot anything. So yes, I call him Kentavious Caldwell Poop. But we gave up all those players. We still have, I think, like 5 remaining players left on the roster right now. So we're definitely going to need to fill out the roster. And there's different guys that want to come and join the Lakers. There are different guys that want to come and join the Lakers now that Russell Westbrook is there with LeBron James. One of those guys being DeMar DeRozan. Now, DeMar DeRozan is a very interesting situation because DeMar DeRozan, LA native, that you see him there in a Lakers jersey, in a do-rag. I don't know who still wears do-rags besides LeBron James. But yeah, you see DeMar DeRozan smiling right there, thinking about joining the Lakers. Because if you remember back to DeMar DeRozan, he was a part of that Toronto Raptors team with Kyle Lowry. They were the leaders of that team, coached by Dwayne Casey. They were always in the runnings for the Eastern Conference, but they always lost to LeBron James. Always. And then the Toronto Raptors go out and make a splash move before the trade deadline. They go out and they acquire Kawhi Leonard, and who do they acquire him for? DeMar freaking DeRozan, who has to go to San Antonio, change his whole life around, watch his team win a ring without him, and no, they didn't send him a ring in the mail. DeMar DeRozan was hurt, disgusted, because he couldn't be a part of something that he helped build. So who better to come to LA and get his chance to finally win his ring than DeMar DeRozan, who has been consistently one of the best mid-range shooters in the game. He's not a top 10 player. Hell, he might not even be a top 20 player, but I would definitely put him in the top 30. And that's saying a lot, because there are a lot of good players in this league. If you go down and you think about all the players, you're thinking, damn, top 30? No, I mean, there's a lot of good players in that top 25. But DeMar DeRozan deserves an opportunity to win a ring. And what better place to do it than LA? Okay, then we have another guy who wants to join the Lakers or rejoin the Lakers. That's Dwight Howard. Now, Dwight Howard left the Lakers after winning a ring this past season, and he had to come to LA and win a ring. He did it with LeBron. We saw him leave and go for a better contract. Went out to Philadelphia, see if he can help Doc Rivers out there. Didn't really work out. So now Dwight Howard is knocking on the door, trying to come back. So we will welcome Dwight Howard with open arms because we always need big bodies in the lane, and we need rebounders, and we need rim protectors. But a big name that has come out, a huge name that has come out, in my opinion, is Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony has expressed interest in joining the Lakers as well for the league minimum. He said that he's sitting by his phone just waiting on the call. And this is another guy who deserves a ring, in my opinion. A guy who got a bad rap when he was in New York because he was selfish and he didn't want Jeremy Lin to be in the starting lineup. He didn't want, certain players to come there. He didn't want to be the second fiddle. He wanted to be the first guy, the first fiddle. He wanted the highest paid contract in the league, and he wasn't trying to take a pay cut so they could get more stars there. And it seemed like he was just going to waste and expire in New York. But what happened to him was he went over to Oklahoma City, played the year with Russell Westbrook and Paul George, got humbled, had to come off the bench, got humbled. And then once he ate some of that humble pie, he decided, hey, I got to get skinnier because he was getting bigger by the year. My man was eating good when he had that big contract. He was eating steak every night. But then he decided to go vegan, start taking care of his body, start working out more, start developing his mindset that, hey, I'm not the old Carmelo Anthony, the MVP of the league that I used to be. I can't come off the bench. If I want to extend my career, if I want to invest in longevity in the NBA, then what I need to do is I need to play a different mindset, be a better teammate. That's what we saw Carmelo Anthony do when he went to the Portland Trailblazers. He went there and he fell right in line underneath Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. And hell, he got to the playoffs and he was a factor in the playoffs, but they just didn't have enough. But what I think Carmelo Anthony deserves to do is definitely come and be a part of the Lakers run this season and for the league minimum. Because, I mean, let's face it, he's not worth that much. And the Lakers don't have that much room to pay him because we got to pay everybody. I mean, we're still trying to bring back Alex Caruso. So shout out to everybody who is tuning in right now on todayscalifornia.com and CoachellaValley.com. My name is Barry Long. I am, don't forget the 2, Barry Long II. This is Go Long Live. Thank you to Craig Campbell and thank you to Crockett Law Firm. And we got some exciting stuff that we will be announcing in the next couple of days. We'll be, some partners, some people we're going to be partnering with, some locations we'll be set up at, some different guests that we'll be interviewing. So it should be fun. It should be really fun. But I thought I should show you guys the meme of the day because this guy's been playing phenomenal for his country, Slovenia. But this is the meme of the day. Luka Doncic, obviously after a foul, when you're waiting for the lifeguard to tell you when to go down the slide. It's summertime. Everybody has been to the water park, and most water parks have those deep, long slides that are like steep. And this is exactly how you look. I'm pretty sure that you're supposed to cross your legs and put your arms on your shoulders. But yeah, that is the meme of the day. All right, now, so we talked, we were going to talk some football, and we need to just jump right into it. We need to just jump right into the AFC South, and this is going to be one of the funnest divisions. Is funnest a word? I think it's a word. It's going to be one of the most fun. It's a word now. It's going to be one of the most fun divisions, in my opinion, to watch this year. Shout to Renova. Because it's going to be a toss-up. Now, when we look at Houston is a mess. It's a hot mess. We've got a quarterback who is being accused of, more than 20 women are accusing him of sexual misconduct. He's got a lot of civil trial charges against him, but he doesn't have any criminal charges against him. Although they are still investigating that. But we don't know if he's going to play or not. And we've heard that Deshaun Watson has showed up to camp, and he has literally been taking plays off. He decides what he wants to do, when he wants to do it, and he don't give a damn. Straight up. They said that this man was lining up at safety. He's out there playing around. He's not taking anything seriously because he's said on multiple times that he is upset with the way that the organization has handled him, has not let him make decisions. It's much like the Aaron Rodgers situation. It's almost exactly like the Aaron Rodgers situation, except Deshaun Watson hasn't won a ring for that city. But he has done a lot for that team, and he's taken a lot of punishment because of them not going out and getting an O-line. Bill O'Brien did not protect this man. That's why this man had to drive to an away game because he couldn't fly with the team because he had a punctured lung. Ridiculous. So they have not protected him, and they haven't got him the pieces that he wants. They got rid of DeAndre Hopkins without asking him. So he wanted out. But with all these allegations swirling around him, I don't know who is going to be willing to take on Deshaun Watson. We don't know if the NFL is going to suspend him. We don't know what's going to happen with that whole case. We don't know if we don't even know if they're going to criminally charge him and he's going to go to jail. But they've got a new head coach in David Culley. They got a new GM in Nick Caserio. Seem like pretty good guys, but they weren't the first choice for both GM and head coach. They went out and tried to extend offers to multiple guys before these two guys ended up being there because people knew it was a hot mess. And then you don't have J.J. Watt there. The defense is terrible, ranked in the second to last in all of defense last year in the NFL. So we're looking at a long season for this Houston Texans team. Now, they did go out and get Tyrod Taylor, who was an insurance policy, just in case Deshaun Watson isn't able to go or he ends up getting traded. But they want a lot for that trade in Deshaun Watson, and hopefully they get a lot back. But I do think they have some good wide receivers. I think that, their running game is going to be lacking this season, but I definitely do not see Houston winning this division. Now, when we move on in this division, we want to talk about the Jaguars. The Jaguars is a very exciting team if you love college football, because they have a new head coach in Urban Meyer. Owner Shad Khan decided, you know what, let's roll the dice and let's go get a guy who is loved in Florida. And he went out and got Urban Meyer. And we've seen Urban Meyer do well in all of his stops ever. Even when he was trying to coach high school football, and even when he was a safeties coach, he was still performing at a high level. But when he became a head coach in Bowling Green, he became a head coach at Utah, he went to Florida, Ohio State, all these places he's won. He's a proven freaking winner. And he only left Ohio State because of health issues. And he wanted to spend more time with his family. And I guess he decided, you know what, that NFL is calling. He's got that itch to go back and coach. And I expect him to win. I expect Urban Meyer to eventually turn this program around. I just don't expect it to be this year. Now, they went out and they had the number 1 overall draft pick with Trevor Lawrence. He's going to be a stud. I mean, they were talking about he could be an NFL quarterback when he was like a freshman in high school. So Trevor Lawrence he's going to be great. No doubt about it. And I expect him to stay healthy. He looks like he got strong bones, like he drinks a lot of milk. Trevor Lawrence looks like if you were to create a quarterback in a lab, that's what you would create. And he can run too. So shout out to Trevor Lawrence. That's going to be a great guy. But he's got a lot to work with as far as trying to get better around him, because they've got some good guys. They got some weapons. They got Travis Etienne out of Clemson, the running back out of Clemson. They went out and got Marvin Jones Jr., who is a top 10 wide receiver, maybe top 15 wide receiver in this league, proven by numbers. And if Trevor Lawrence isn't able to, if he does get injured, they have a backup in Gardner Minshew who wants out. And then they went out and got Tim Tebow. I don't know what they're going to do about Tim Tebow, but Tim Tebow is apparently going to be the tight end of this football team. And I hope we do not see any Tebow chants, because that would just be terrible for Trevor Lawrence all around. But Tim Tebow being there, it's gonna provide some excitement to this team. He's such a polarizing figure. A lot of people don't really like Tebow. A lot of people love Tebow. It's either you love him or you hate him, or you're tired of him, or you can't get enough of him. So Tim Tebow is definitely a polarizing factor. I think it's going to add some excitement around the media buzz for this team. But we're not even sure if Tim Tebow is going to make it. He's going to make the final roster. But I believe, in my opinion, that Tim Tebow is a winner. No matter what he does, he's gonna work the hardest in the room, and he's gonna eventually come out on top. I mean, my man, he went back to playing baseball after not playing since high school, and held his own in Double-A. And if you know how hard it is to play baseball, there was no chance he had it to make it to the major leagues. But for him to even make it as far as he did, shout out to Tim Tebow. But tight end is a different animal, and we'll see. But I do not expect the Jacksonville Jaguars to be that great this season. As a matter of fact, I expect them to go 8-9, which is good for a first-year head coach, first-year rookie quarterback. I expect them to win some games, but I just don't expect them to win the division. All right, now moving on. We've also got a juggernaut. Now, this is going to be the team that I'm going to pick for this division. This is the Tennessee Titans. Shout out to my dad and my mom there. That's their team. Tennessee, I love Derrick Henry. I mean, I absolutely love him. He is, in my opinion, the best running back in the league. You hand it to him, you can put the whole offense on his back, on his shoulders. They went out and they got a guy like Julio Jones to match with A.J. Brown. They are going to be nasty on the outsides. Do you understand me? This is going to be the best wide receiver tandem in the league this year. Now, they got a guy, Ryan Tannehill, who struggled in Miami, but it seemed to just click when he got with Mike Vrabel when he came to Tennessee. And he got with that good running game, Derrick Henry, and he started using the play action, and he started using his tight ends more. So I like this team to win this division. I just think that the defense is suspect. The secondary needs help. And they definitely need help on the pass rush. So we're gonna see. The only weakness of this team is their defense, and I think that offense is gonna be such a juggernaut that you're gonna have to put up points in order to beat this team because they're gonna air it out. I mean, they're gonna run the ball, but they're gonna play action it out. You don't go out and get Julio Jones to run the ball 40 times a game. They're gonna be throwing the ball a lot. So I look for them to be mixing up the pass and the run a little bit more. And I think Tennessee wins this division ultimately. Now, the team that I was thinking about was going to win the division before some breaking news happened was the Indianapolis Colts. Now, the Indianapolis Colts were a top defense last year. They weren't the number one defense, but they were in the top 5. They also, have some great players on the defense emerging, like Darius Leonard. The O-line is good. They went out and got DeForest Buckner for the defense. They've got a wide receiver in Michael Pittman Jr., who is going to be a possession-type receiver down the stretch. He's going to go out and get you those balls across the middle. And then they've got a guy who can light it up downfield with a deep ball, with a home run, and T.Y. Hilton. And they've got some good running backs. Jonathan Taylor is becoming a star running back in this league. You got Hayne, and you got Marlon Mack still. They still got Marlon Mack. So they've got some guys. But what they had was they went out and they had Phillip Rivers last season. And then Phillip Rivers retired with his 11 kids. Damn, he got a lot of kids. I thought I had a lot of kids. I got 3. Phillip Rivers got a lot of kids. I thought does he have more kids than Antonio Cromartie? But he doesn't have more baby mamas. I think all of Phillip Rivers' kids is all one woman, his wife. But Phillip Rivers is he retired. And he's spending time with his kids he's out there coaching and spending time with the family. They needed a quarterback that could go out and get it done. So they decided to go out and get Carson Wentz. And Carson Wentz was out there. He had some issues in that locker room. What do we hear about? Ever since he came in the league in Philadelphia, Carson Wentz, we've heard that there's issues in the locker room, that he wasn't a good teammate, that he was selfish, that he was hard to get along with. And there was just bad energy around him. Then you had wide receivers that were coming out and literally throwing him under the bus, saying he holds the ball too long. And he's been injury prone. This guy's had a broken back, a broken wrist, cracked ribs, torn ACL, torn LCL, and now he has a foot injury, and he's going to be out 5 to 12 weeks. I really was hoping for Carson Wentz to bounce back this season because he seems like a really good guy, despite what they say about him in the locker room in Philadelphia. I felt bad for him because he got injured, and Nick Foles, he had to watch his team win a ring without him, even though he was a part of that season and he was a part of their record. He still didn't get the credit for winning the Super Bowl like most quarterbacks would get. And I felt terrible for him. So I really wanted to see him bounce back this season. But him being out 5 to 12 weeks, and they're saying that this injury probably occurred sometime in high school. So you mean to tell me my man has been injury prone since high school? Man. So it just doesn't look like the Colts can get a break. I mean, they had a good quarterback, they thought, for the next 20 years, and Andrew Luck, and barring health, and his health failed him, and he had to end up retiring early. They had Jacoby Brissett, who showed a little bit of promise, didn't pan out. Phillip Rivers, they thought they'd have him for a couple years. He retired after 1. And now Carson Wentz going down 5 to 12 weeks. And that's 5 to 12 weeks. That's a 7-week window. Like, I don't understand. I mean, I get that's like when you're getting cable installed and they're like, oh, we'll be there between 8 and 4 p.m. Like, damn, bro, that's 8-hour window, bro. Like, come on, I can't get nothing done. So, but yeah, 5 to 12 weeks, you don't know what you're going to be expecting. You don't know if he's going to be on 5 weeks and 12 weeks, if it's going to be longer than that. And it's Carson Wentz. He's an injury-prone player. So rumors are that their backup, Jacob Eason, is not ready to play, and they're going to probably end up trying to go out and sign a veteran quarterback. And maybe they want to go and get a Gardner Minshew from Jacksonville. Maybe they don't have Jacoby Brissett anymore. He's in Miami. Maybe you go and call him and say, hey, please come back. Please help me, please. I'm not sure, but they're going to have to get somebody to come in. We've heard that maybe Nick Foles will come in And that would be tragic for Carson Wentz because Nick Foles is the guy who came in and replaced him in Philadelphia. And if that happened in Indianapolis, oh, Lord. So it's not looking good for Indianapolis Colts. I picked them to come out second in this division. I originally was going to pick them to win the division with Carson Wentz. I really was a Carson Wentz believer in his bounce back, but it doesn't seem like it's going to materialize because of injury. This has been a quick show, man. Time just flew. Thank you to everybody who has been tuning in, sharing the post, liking the post. See, we got 11 likes already live right now. Thank you to everybody who's watching it back on Facebook. Please comment. I can still see your comments even if you're not watching live, and we can shout you out on the next episode. We are going to be I'm announcing right now that we are going to be moving the time of the show from the noon hour to the evening. So if you're in California, you're going to catch the show at 6:30 live. And if you're in the East Coast, where my parents are in Virginia, you're going to be watching it at 9:30 p.m. So we're going to test that out and see how that goes. But until then, remember, man, just stay focused, stay motivated, stay inspired. And remember, you are capable of anything. This is Go Long Live with Very Long 2. Don't